In mid-2021, what looked like a picture-perfect road trip began capturing attention online. An adventurous young couple chasing freedom, exploring vast landscapes, and sharing every moment with the world. It was the kind of journey many people dream about, but behind the carefully curated images, a far darker story was beginning to unfold, one that would soon grip millions. At the heart of it were Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. Gabby Petito, just 22 years old, was vibrant, creative, and driven by a passion to build a life as a travel content creator. Together with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, she set off on a cross-country van life journey across the United States. They transformed a small white van into their home, with plans to explore national parks, capture their experiences, and inspire others to embrace life on the road. From the outside, their life appeared flawless. Their social media posts showed breathtaking landscapes, smiling faces, and a carefree lifestyle. From Utah's red rock deserts to the scenic beauty of Wyoming, Gabby's content painted a picture of happiness and freedom. But behind the carefully edited videos and photos, something darker was unfolding, something no one watching could truly see. In August 2021, a police body cam video captured an interaction between the couple after a reported domestic disturbance. Gabby appeared distressed, emotional, and overwhelmed, while Brian remained relatively calm.
Did you get hit in the face?
Newly released police body cam video shows more of the moments from an August incident in Utah between Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie.
We want to know the truth if he actually hit you.
I guess, yeah, but I hit him first.
Where did he hit you? Don't worry, just be honest.
He grabbed my face.
Slap your face or what?
Well, he grabbed me with his nail, and I guess that's why it looks. I definitely have a cut right here because I can feel it.
Yeah.
When I touch it, it burns.
The video, taken more than 5 weeks before Petito was discovered dead near a campground in Bridger Teton National Forest. Moab City police pulled over the couple's van on August the 12th, separating Petito and Laundrie after they said a witness reported seeing a man hit a woman in the face.
She gets really worked up, and when she does, she swings and she had her cell phone in her hand.
At the time, the incident did not result in any major legal action, but in hindsight, many would later view this moment as a warning sign, a glimpse into a troubled relationship hidden beneath a polished exterior. Days later, Gabby's communication with her family became sporadic, then stopped entirely. Her parents grew increasingly worried. Text messages seemed unusual, calls went unanswered, and the vibrant young woman who once shared every moment of her journey had suddenly gone silent. On the 11th of September 2021, Gabby Petito was officially reported missing. As the search began, a shocking development emerged. Brian Laundrie had already returned to his family home in Florida alone. He did not report Gabby missing. He did not speak publicly. Instead, he remained silent, hiring an attorney, and refusing to cooperate with investigators. Within days, Brian himself disappeared, turning the case into a nationwide mystery involving two missing individuals, one presumed victim, the other a person of interest. The story exploded across social media platforms like TikTok, where users analyzed every detail: videos, timestamps, body language, and locations. Amateur investigators joined the search, sharing theories and clues. Never before had a case unfolded so publicly, with millions watching and participating in real time. Then came a crucial breakthrough. A travel vlogger reviewing her own footage discovered something significant: a white van parked in a remote area near Grand Teton National Park. The van matched the one Gabby and Brian had been traveling in. Authorities quickly moved to the location. On the 19th of September 2021, the search came to a devastating end. Gabby Petito's remains were found. The news sent shockwaves across the globe. The young woman whose life had seemed so full of promise was gone. An autopsy later confirmed that her death was a homicide, marking a tragic conclusion to the search but raising even more questions. Attention quickly shifted to Brian Laundrie. A massive manhunt began, focusing on the dense and unforgiving terrain of Florida's nature reserves. Weeks passed with no sign of him. The public speculated endlessly. Had he escaped? Was he hiding? Or was something else at play? Then, in October,
the FBI conducting a relentless search for Brian Laundrie, the boyfriend of Gabby Petito. He's now infamous. Laundrie wanted on a federal arrest warrant and was last seen nearly 2 weeks ago when he left his home in Florida to go hiking and never returned. He is a person of interest in the death of his girlfriend, Gabby Petito, whose body was found at a campground in Wyoming 1 week ago. And Tracy, the FBI returned to the Laundrie family's home in Northport, Florida, to remove some of Brian's things that have DNA on them, we've been told. Some type of DNA testing will be executed. What will those items be used for? I mean, what is your gut telling you? Because obviously, you know, you've done this.
So my gut would tell me, doing things like this in the past, is that those items, particularly those with Brian's DNA on it, would be used probably to compare against Gabby Petito's body.
Human remains were discovered in a previously flooded area of a nature reserve. Dental records confirmed the identity. It was Brian Laundrie. Nearby, investigators found a notebook. In it, Brian reportedly confessed to killing Gabby.
Contents of Brian Laundrie's notebook have been revealed. Here at 10, we've got our first look at what he wrote about the death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito. It's his confession in his own writing, and legal experts say it could become evidence in a current lawsuit against the Laundrie family. Let's bring in Fox 13's Janae Lewis live in our newsroom with a story and what he wrote. Janae, this captured everybody's attention last year. What does this say?
It's still capturing everyone's attention now. You know, since the FBI discovered this notebook last year, there have been a number of questions about what was inside. Agents previously said Laundrie wrote his confession, but now we know why, at least in his words, he did it. Glimpses into his final words. The FBI recovered this notebook last year near the remains of Brian Laundrie in the Carlson Reserve in Sarasota County. And now for the first time, we are seeing what he wrote. Inside, FBI agents say he confessed to the murder of Gabby Petito. In the pages publicly released, Laundrie writes, "I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that it was what she wanted, but I see now all the mistakes I made." The FBI determined Laundrie killed Petito last year while on a cross-country trip. Her parents in New York reported her missing when they stopped hearing from her, then learned Brian returned home to Florida without her. Searchers found her body in Wyoming, and a coroner said she was strangled to death. Laundrie called her death an unexpected tragedy, saying Petito was hurt while they were at a park in Utah. He said he didn't know the extent of her injuries, but knew that she was in extreme pain, saying, "From the moment I decided, took away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her."
The case, officially closed, left behind a haunting silence. While the immediate questions had been answered, the emotional weight of the story lingered. How did a relationship that appeared so happy deteriorate into violence? What signs were overlooked? And how many others might be experiencing similar situations behind closed doors? One of the most disturbing elements of this case was the contrast between reality and perception. To the outside world, Gabby and Brian were living a dream, traveling, exploring, and sharing their love story. But social media only showed one side. The curated highlights masked a deeper, more troubling truth. This disconnect forced millions to confront an uncomfortable reality. Not everything we see online reflects what is truly happening. Gabby's story also sparked a broader conversation about domestic violence. Experts pointed to the warning signs: emotional distress, controlling dynamics, and isolation as critical indicators that are often overlooked.
One of the things that we can do, because of the water and the weather and everything, there may or may not have been DNA on it, but we can do a handwriting analysis.
The release of Laundrie's notebook comes the same week the parents of Gabby Petito had their first hearing in a lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's parents. They claim that as they desperately searched for their missing daughter, the Laundries already knew what happened and refused to speak to investigators because they were trying to protect their son. Analysts say the contents of his notebook could be a critical piece of evidence in the family's lawsuit.
If there is a date in the notebook, like a lot of people will date a diary or something like that.
The journal reveals a lot about what Brian Laundrie's intent was, and whether or not that crosses over into anything they contribute to his own parents, that's a different story.
Her case became a powerful reminder of the importance of recognizing these signs and taking them seriously. In the wake of the tragedy, Gabby Petito's family chose to channel their pain into purpose. They began speaking out for victims of domestic violence, raising awareness and offering support to those facing similar struggles.
There were so many other people out there putting her story out there, and we wanted to make sure we could use our voices and say it in our way.
To the world, Gabrielle Petito was the center of a haunting true crime case, but to her loved ones, she was just Gabby.
This was an opportunity for Gabby to be seen as a person and not just the headline or the girl behind the social media account.
The 22-year-old from Long Island seemed to be living out her version of the perfect life, traveling the country with her new fiancé, as documented on her YouTube channel.
Hello, and good morning. She was easy in terms of just going with the flow. She was as easygoing as it could be. It really was.
Kindness is contagious, and Gabby was contagious. That's who she was.
How the
remains consistent of your daughter. I remember I was crying, and I said, you have to be sure, I have to be sure if I'm making this phone call. They showed me pictures, and I confirmed it was our daughter.
Are piecing together the final weeks of her life. Gabby's mom, Nicole, and her husband, Jim, and Gabby's dad, Joe, and his wife, Tara, remembering Gabby's final moments.
When they set out on that adventure, what did you say to her before she left? Do you remember?
Yeah, and I always say this because I was absolutely the luckiest one. I got to give her a hug goodbye, and it was the most amazing.
Through their advocacy, Gabby's story continues to leave a lasting impact far beyond the events that took her life. Even as time passes, the unanswered questions still linger. What if someone had stepped in earlier? What if the signs had been taken more seriously? What if things had turned out differently? This is more than a story about a crime. It's a story about what we see and what we miss, about silence and the battles people fight behind closed doors. It serves as a powerful reminder that behind every headline is a real person, someone who deserves care, protection, and to be remembered. Because what began as a journey filled with excitement and possibility ultimately took a much darker turn. A road trip that began with dreams of freedom and adventure slowly turned into something far more haunting. What once looked like a perfect journey unraveled into silence, leaving behind unanswered questions, heartbreak, and a story that continues to echo long after the road came to an end.